a new ordinance, how is there enough manpower to enforce this? Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and talk until we're all blue in the face and get this all passed, but is it ever going to be enforced? Or are we all going to be calling and reporting and wasting people's time by doing that when it's not even going to be enforced?
I won't say it won't be enforced, but again, this again is where the citizens need to have a louder voice with some of the commissioners. Here's what's going on. Currently there is 10 of us that are qualified to run the boats, and another 6 as deckhands. So that's 16 of us. However, we're down to 2 boats because one of our boat is totaled. It's done. Alright. Part of the money that we get from state parks to pay for the boating program is supposed to be matched by the county. Mason County has historically never matched any of the money given to the sheriff's office to run a boating program. Has never matched in all the years I've been here. Okay? Even though the law says, or the grant agreement says it will be matched. They've just never done it. And it's never been a big thing before because we've always been able to get enough money to get things to work. Well, things have changed. Okay? Coast Guard, who ultimately gives the money to state parks, who gives it to us, has come down and said, these are what we need to see if you want your money. State Parks has come down and said, if you want your money, we need to see this. And one of the things they're pushing for next year's boating season is matching funds. The sheriff in the budget asked for matching funds, $80,000. He asked for $80,000 from the commissioners for next year's budget for the boating program. That's all. The commissioners told him, you need to take your search and rescue sort team out of the budget, you need to take your boating out of the budget, and you need to take your SWAT team out of the budget. Because we're not going to fund those.
Sounds like we need to get
The sheriff replied, no, I can't do that. So now they're in a big fight over funding. All right?
Maybe we should just worry more about general safety than voting. Since there'll be no law enforcement here pretty soon. No funding.
In July 1st to July 15th, I worked 55 hours of overtime. From July 16th to July 30th, I worked 48 hours of overtime. From August 1st to August 16th, I worked 44 hours of overtime. And that's just me to cover patrol. Now, I'll admit, after I work, well, like last week, I worked 3 doubles. I worked a day shift and a swing shift both, back to back. I did that 3 days in a row. On my day off, I'm sorry, I'm not ready to go out on a boat for 8 to 9 hours. I'm sorry, I'm dead. Okay, and I'm not the only guy that's going through this. All right?
How do they fund the boat operators?
Right now, we're paid through state parks that we give the grant.
No, as far as their wages.
That comes from state parks,
And
that grant money.
it has been rumored that all the people that are on those boats that are out there are on overtime.
Yes, we are.
Well, maybe the department that you're working in had better start asking for more people to
They did.
band.
They did. We did. County commissioner said, no, we're not funding any more people.
So instead they're paying overtime, so they could have funded people.
That's
I'm averaging,
Businessmen should run government.
like I said, I'm probably averaging 40 hours of overtime a pay period,
You gotta take them.
and there's probably at least 6 of us that are averaging 40 hours of pay, overtime per pay period, just to cover minimum staffing. Because, you know, some people do wanna go on vacations, and some of us do have training, like I'll be gone for 2 weeks to Tacoma for training at the end of this September, so, but, yeah.
The Coast Guard has an auxiliary that's made up of volunteers.
By federal law, they are not allowed to take any enforcement action.
If they go out there and they talk to people that are doing things wrong.
Yeah, but they can't take any enforcement action. All they can do is say, you were a bad boy.
Well, wouldn't it-
It may help.
that may not be so
When did
bad.
that change?
If you let your
They
neighbors
can
tell
do
you
that
you
in
don't
saltwater, but they can't do it in
They
freshwater.
can't come to our lakes either. Has to be federally controlled water.
Yeah, okay.
The only lake that we may be able to get the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard auxiliary on is Cushman. And as of last time I talked to the Coast Guard, they were like, not sure we can go there. We'll research it. But right now, they can't come out here. Not a lake, not a federal lake. It's not like Roosevelt or something like that.
How often have you been out here this
You
year?
know, I think maybe you guys can enforce everything. Maybe we can help ourselves by, maybe we have some good letter writers in our group. Just write a letter explaining to everybody who may not be part of this club, just put, it's our lake, and have a set of rules that are available with a nice letterhead, and see if we can get the club to go for the postage on
So-
it, and send it to everybody on the lake, rather than just a few that belong to the club.
Yeah.
Uh,
The thing is, has everybody heard or seen something about getting a mandatory voter's education card?
Heard what?
Got your mandatory voter's education card?
What percentage of the boats on the lake on a busy weekend have no idea what that is?
Maybe 0.5%.
Or you think most voters know about it?
Everybody we've been contacting over the last few years have either said, here it is, or, yeah, I thought I was exempt this year. No, sir, not this year.
It also is a
They all know
rumor,
about it.
it's also a rumor that's been going around the lake that I think that there was 3 sea-doos that were damaged down on the south end of the lake. There was this last weekend a large boat accident, and I was told that nobody had the permit. Why? You were there. They didn't even ask to check.
The 2 sea-doos, I checked,
They didn't have it.
they were exempt.
They were exempt. They were pub kids. They're 16 years old.
They were exempt.
Why is that?
Why?
They took my course.
Because one of them was a rental, and they had the rental paperwork that said, here you go, you're exempt.
Not only that, you're exempt for the first 60 days of personal watercraft ownership.
Not just
Trust me,
personal
you read
watercraft,
some of these rules, you just kind of gotta wonder.
not just personal watercraft, boats, period.
Okay,
Those kids were exempt. They didn't have to have it, because it was a rental.
But the jet boat,
Well, somebody ought to be working on that law. That should be one of the topics that you address.
And that's a state
Well-
law, right? You can't have a car without a driver's license. Or you can buy a car and take your car out for however many days till you get a license. I don't think so. What's the difference?
Okay. First dozen of 1955. Certain senators in our state said, we'll support this bill as long as I don't have to do this. So they came up with January 1st, 1955. Because that covered those people that wanted to, that would support the bill.
You still not have to have insurance on your boat in this state?
Right. Don't have to have insurance. It's recreational.
Right.
No insurance?
No, not mandatory. Why you would want to have a really expensive boat out there and not have insurance? I don't know, but it's not mandatory. It's just like you still don't have to have insurance on motorcycles. They're exempt from insurance. Yes?
I have a question, two questions. Are most of our accidents, from people visiting our lake or from people that live here?
You're about, if I go over all the years, 70% are residents, 30% are visitors.
Oh, really? When people launch their boats at the public ground, is there directions there on the proper etiquette on our lake? Which way to go?
I think they're still there unless somebody's torn down.
Is there anything at the other end, on the private camera?
At Simpson's?
Yes.
Yeah, Simpson's got rules set up too. In fact, Simpson's got one rule that the public launch doesn't. You can't have any over-the-top transom exhaust boats launched at Simpson.
The state code says you can't have that either.
And I think everybody.
That's dry.
It's
You
dry
can't have dry
exhaust,
stacks.
as long as they're wet exhaust.
The radios are louder than that.
Yes,
I think Simpson hands out a document to everybody that comes in there, at least makes a reservation on it, has all the rules on it.
they used to, yeah. Seems how I bypass most of that when I go through Simpson. I don't know what they're handing out now, but. No, I mean, yes.
What's the leading cause of boat accidents in the state? Alcohol?
White male adults, 25 to 35, with 5 to 6 years experience boating. No. Alcohol is a factor, but not a leading factor.
But did that just describe the general consensus, the demographic of the typical boater? Doesn't he kind of fall into that bunch?
No, no. Especially in the state of Washington, we have so much water, and people, as you ask, if you ask around here, most of them will say, yeah, we've had boats since I was this tall in my family, and we just continued to, we've got quite the demographic when you look at voters in the state of Washington. We're the only state in the union that has this kind of demographic or this much water.
So is it too much testosterone or what?
I've said for years it's more of this, especially before we actually got the mandatory voter's card going. It was a case of, I have a bunch of money, I want a boat. Ooh, let's see, how do you run a boat? Well, you take that round thing and you turn it left and right, the boat goes left and right. You take that sticky thing and you move it forward and it goes fast. Real forward and it goes real fast. Pull it back and it goes backwards. Yeah, what more do I need to know about running a boat? And that's where, and then it's the complacency. They're at the age, they've run the boat long enough that they think, I know what I'm doing. Okay, and no, they don't. Yes?
So I haven't noticed that there's that many boats running inside of the buoys. Now, maybe other people have that. Is that true or not true? No. It's not true, okay.
So I got asked,
They're running inside the buoys?
I've seen them jumping the buoys.
Okay, all right,
He
well,
said they're jumping the buoys.
so I got asked earlier how much I've been out here this year. I haven't been on Mason Lake at all this year. I'll admit it. I've just been buried with all kinds of other stuff. But I haven't heard that much, and I know the last year that I was out here actively patrolling, which was last summer, we weren't getting that many complaints about inside the buoys or even jumping the buoys. I mean, it happens, yes, but not like it was the few years before where it was a common occurrence. Or we had the resident that, when's the best time to water ski, water skiers? Morning. Real early morning, late afternoon, evening, right? Yeah, that's when we had the guy living on the west side of the lake, he decided to take his kid out water skiing with no observer. So while he was looking back over the shoulder watching his kid, he ran over the two docks and put the kid through one dock. But, oh, hey, I know what I'm doing. Okay, so,
But we don't have, I've been here for 50 years, and we haven't had the accidents, and most of my neighbors all let the skiers go out, and they go straight out, and we haven't had any accidents in our whole end of the lake there that I know of,
You had that one. That boat was right next to your place.
one of the issues I've found is that people are not reporting what is happening. Also, every summer I have to go over to dispatch and educate my dispatchers, because when a boating accident comes in their mind, it's a recreational thing, like somebody falling down and having a boo-boo, and they send fire department, and they do not send law enforcement. So there is, out of all the collisions that are reported statewide, they estimate that only 20% are actually getting reported.
Was that jet boat guy charged?
He was booked in jail.
And what's the status of that?
Ongoing investigation.
Is he not in jail anymore?
Nope.
He was cited. He was cited.
No,
Or he was not cited.
it was a felony. We don't
Okay.
cite for
Okay,
felonies.
all right,
I'll tell you what I can. It's an ongoing investigation. Some details are not going to be out there. Okay? So, you have little jet boat, right? Big motor, going really, really fast on the lake. He's headed northbound, and we have pontoon boat occupied by 8 going northbound, and the jet boat had 4. Jet boat runs into back of pontoon boat with enough force and at the angle to go up on top of pontoon boat. Okay? They get back in the water, people come out to help, to include preventing jet boat guy from disappearing. Long story short, he gets arrested. He appears to be under the influence of alcohol. The search warrant is applied for and granted.